Broadcasting live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Here's your host, Andrew Romanella.
Okay? Like, just get the hell out of here. Nobody cares what you think if you're not a Mets fan.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome into a Monday edition of The Rome Show, broadcasting live on youtube.com/The Romanellas, Twitter X, Instagram, The Rome Show 1, Facebook.com/The Rome Show. I'm your host, Andrew Romanella. We got a fresh week for the people, a fresh Monday for the people, and we are 3 days away from the jolly Santa Claus coming to town and delivering some of those gifts. We hope to deliver you some gifts today on a Monday with the Rome Show. We remind you can get in on the action. Head to youtube.com/The Romanellas. Head to Twitter X and Instagram, The Rome Show 1, or facebook.com/The Rome Show. And you can comment live on the show. Give us your thoughts. Let us know your feelings. Tell us your best and your worst of the weekend. Finally, you miss any of the show, The Rome Show podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. It's the final day of the Rome Show giveaway. It's a Rome Show Christmas here in the state of New Jersey. You have to go to a social media site, YouTube, Twitter X, Instagram, Facebook. Make sure you are following that Rome Show social media handle, okay? Make sure you re-share the red or green social media post. Pretty easy. And we will draw live a contestant winner tomorrow on the Tuesday edition of the show. We've had 5 contestant winners so far during a Rome Show Christmas. We are looking for a 6th, so make sure you get to the social media site so you have a chance to win. Off the Rome, Monday morning quarterback, weekend's worst, weekend's best, and a preview of Monday night football. Let's get into the show. I don't know if this is a state of New Jersey thing or if this is a anywhere people are driving thing. But yesterday, it really hit me that I have a gripe with a lot of New Jersey drivers. And it's super simple. Okay, it's a twofold straight off the Rome today. The Rome Show on Twitter X and Instagram. The Romanellas on YouTube if you comment in. I'm driving yesterday, okay? And if you've ever been to the state of New Jersey, you should already know that we are going to believe that we are the best drivers in the country. We are going to believe that we are the fastest drivers in the country. And to finish, we are also going to believe that no matter what state you come from, you're the worst driver in the country. Those are the unwritten driving rules in the state of New Jersey. So we go to celebrate the holidays with one of my sides of the family. We're baking cookies. We're doing all the good jazz, and we're driving home. Okay. And my fiance and I are driving behind this guy. He's in the left lane going, let's call it 68 in a 65. All right. So I move over to the right lane thinking, oh, I'm just going to pass this guy and we're going to move on our merry way. Well, he also moves over to the right lane. Okay. Well, I got it. Get over to the right so someone can pass you on the left. I'll accept. Fine. I'll get back over to the left at 68 miles per hour and then I'll pass you. Well, what does this guy do? Arguably one of the 2 pet peeves of mine that I hate more than anything. You've been driving 68 miles per hour for the last 5 minutes. Now I go to pass you, and all of a sudden, you're driving 100. Like, what are we doing? So now I go to pass this guy on the left at 75 miles per hour. Now he decides he wants to drive 75 miles per hour. So then he drives at the exact same speed as me. Then I finally pass him at like 80. He then gets to 85, 90 to pass me to get right back in front of me. I'm like, dude, Nobody's doing anything here to disrespect you. This isn't a drag race. No one's trying to piss you off. I'm just trying to drive a normal speed limit, a consistent speed limit, and I'm trying to use the left lane for what the left lane is meant to be used for, which is passing the slow drivers who you are. Okay, so that's my first pet peeve. Okay, stop. If you're a slow driver, just accept it. Just accept it. There's a whole right side of the road for you. Okay, if it's a 4-lane highway, let's think about it as lane number 1 being all the way to the right. That's your bread and butter right there. If you're going to spend time 5 miles plus or minus from the speed limit. So if the speed limit's 65 and you're going to spend it at 68, 69, 70, right lane, all day, don't move from there. And then you start to make your way across. Lane number 2, probably a slightly faster right lane driver, maybe 70 to 71, 72. The second to left lane, your middle lane should be your hybrid, your chameleon. I can drive 75, 80 with the people on the left, but also I can drive 65 to 70 with the people on the right. Your biggest goal as a middle lane driver, as a second to left lane driver, is to not affect the flow of traffic, is to not allow people to get bottlenecked because they go from left to right or right to left, and you're driving like a right lane driver in the middle of the highway. Arguably, the middle lane driver that is a slow driver is the most dangerous because you're dead in the middle of people making moves. And then your left lane is for your fast drivers. This is a common principle in driving, ladies and gentlemen. This is not hard. This isn't something that's difficult to wrap your head around. This is not something that should be even a thought process outside of what type of driver do I want to be today? Do I want to be a faster driver? Do I want to be a slower driver? And how the hell does the road work? Okay? How does it work? So if you're a slow driver, get the hell out of the left lane. And by the way, stop getting mad at people that want to pass you. You're the problem. The person that is driving the average speed of everybody else is not the problem. Here's my second qualm on your straight off the Rome today. Not only is it a problem, in my opinion, for you to be that person and A, be a bad driver and not know which lane your slow ace deserves to be in, but B, then gets mad and becomes like a reckless driver because they can't handle somebody passing them, though they're driving too slow and they should be passed. This is the kicker. I'm going to give the guy the middle finger on my way off the highway. So for 10 miles, I'm going to drive like a NASCAR race with this guy. I'm going to get in front of him. He's going to get in front of me. I'm going to go left. He's going to go left. And we're going to go right. We're going to go right. And it's stupid dangerous. It's ridiculous. And it's like, is this guy battling me right now? Like I was really just trying to move my car from the middle lane to the left lane, pass him, and continue on my way with my beautiful fiance on the way home from baking day. That's all we're trying to do. Now, instead, I got this Honda Civic kind of going back and forth. And then the kicker, we get off the highway and my fiance goes, hey, he's giving you the middle finger. What? What? For what? So that's the finish here. What does that do for you? If you're a middle finger person, what's it do? I mean that honestly. Like what did you accomplish right there as the driver that gives somebody the middle finger? You think you really stuck it to him? You sent that guy home angry. Woo! I left. I found it funnier that you're the bad driver. It's atrocious the way you're moving your vehicle on this highway. And then we leave the highway. And you're going to slow down to get equidistant with my windows to give me the finger. What? Those are the type of people my brother and I used to talk about all this time. Rocky will be on the show tomorrow for his Tuesday segment of Hockey with Rocky. Wish we had throwing stars or something that you could throw at somebody that it doesn't hurt them. It hits their tire. It shuts their car off for 10 minutes. They automatically get pulled over to the side of the road, and you have to sit and think about why you're sitting there like an idiot because you're a terrible driver. But I digress. The throwing star, probably not a real option. But you know what's a real option? If you're a slow driver, stay in the right lane. And if you are pissed off at somebody, you think they wronged you. Newsflash, the middle finger doesn't do anything. Okay? It's actually funnier. So the people that think that that's a good response are the people that actually think about that all the time. Like, there are people that instantaneously just give you the finger. You're a loser. Sorry, you're a loser. You're a bad driver, and that's loser type behavior. So I had to get off my chest today. If you got any driving stories that you'd like to tell, the Romanellas on YouTube, the Rome Show 1 on Twitter, X, and Instagram. William Folly T4C writes in, know that Jesus loves you. William, I appreciate that. I feel that. I definitely do know that Jesus loves me. I'd also love if Jesus could teach some of these slow drivers that the right lane is exactly where they should be at all times. And oh, by the way, leave the middle finger in the holster because it does absolutely nothing to flick somebody off. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we take a quick commercial break. We come back with Monday morning quarterback. Not only are we running through week 16 of the National Football League today, but I got some thoughts on what I witnessed in the CFP over the weekend. So we're going to get you right with week 16 in the National Football League and the first round of the college football playoffs. Stick with us here on the Rome Show. Back after this commercial break.
What is one thing every great leader has in common? They challenge their people to not stop at the first right answer. Tighten the Lug Nuts is a leadership book that will teach you how to move past the first right answer with entertaining and detailed examples founded in real-world concepts and experiences. Accelerate towards your professional goals with Tighten the Lug Nuts, one of the best leadership books available.
Welcome back into the Rome Show here. Broadcasting live on youtube.com/the Romanellas. Head to youtube.com. Subscribe to the Romanellas channel. Share it with a friend. I got to be honest with you. Romanellas channel about to pop off right now. Make sure you get in on the action. The Rome Show 1. Twitter, X, Instagram. That's the Rome Show. Then the number 1 on Twitter, X, and Instagram. The Rome Show. OG website. That would be considered the old Facebook.com. Monday morning quarterback. It's time. Let's get started with the college football playoff, which happened over the weekend. Round 1, at least, happened over the weekend. And we had some good games and we had some atrocious games. Actually, that's a lie. We had one really good football game. That was Friday night. Alabama defeated Oklahoma 34-24 on the road in Norman. Alabama won the first college football playoff game on the road in the college football playoff era. Well, then Miami turned around in the 12 o'clock game the next day and became the second team and did it back-to-back to go on the road in the college football playoff and win a contest. That was a 10-3 affair in Lubbock, Texas, and it was atrocious. It was gross. That was a gross football game to watch, but Miami moves on. They'll play Ohio State in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl. Indiana, they'll host Alabama in the Rose Bowl. Ole Miss, they handled Tulane 41-10, and Oregon, I would say, handled James Madison 51-34, but we got to give James Madison a lot of props and credit in this game. Yeah, they were down. I think it was like 51-17 at one point, and they clawed and battled back. And offensively, they put up 34 against Oregon. That is a beautiful showing. And before we wrap up the little bow here on college football, by the way, Oregon will take on Texas Tech now, and Ole Miss will take on Georgia. I wanted to throw this tweet out there if I have it. If I don't have it, I will read it to you, okay? I saw a tweet over the weekend about college football, and it was this. The G5 should be banned from college football after Tulane's 41-10 blowout. Yet, if you go back on last year, we witnessed 42-10 Ohio State blowout SEC Tennessee. And if you look back on the history of college football, there have been 6 blowouts, okay? By 31 or more points. TCU, one of them. FSU, one of them. Michigan State, one of them. Oklahoma, one of them. Ohio State, one of them. And then Tulane. Okay? There were 5 Power 4 conference teams in the last 10 years of the college football playoff that have been blown out by 31 or more. So all those haters out there, I don't disagree with the argument you can now make about Notre Dame being in over those 2 teams. But you can't deny the argument that there are blowouts every year in the college football playoff. Sorry, not sorry. If you're going to do a postseason tournament and try and decipher a national champion, people are going to get blown out. That is how sports works. It can't be perfect, college football community, and it's not going to be only the SEC, ACC, Big 10, Big 12, whatever. Get over it. Or create your own college football and let the rest of us play in the fun world that we are playing in. Those games will be next weekend. So to finish in the college football realm, they play the first weekend of games. The second weekend of games, which is the last 8 teams remaining, that becomes those bowl games that you know, and then we trickle down effect from there. Week 16 in the National Football League got started on Thursday. Friendly reminder, the Seattle Seahawks in overtime defeated the Los Angeles Rams 38-37. They hold a 1-game lead in the NFC West now because of that, with another NFC West foe tonight. The 49ers sitting at 10-4, trying to stay alive not only in that battle, but also stay alive in the wild card hunt. We'll finish our football rundown today with a breakdown of that game. We had 2 games over the weekend on Saturday. One of them was the Eagles and the Commanders. The other was the Bears and the Packers, okay? The Eagles, they were atrocious in the first half of this football game. It actually looked like Marcus Mariota and the Commanders might find a way to stifle the Eagles and defeat them. It was 10-7 going into halftime, with which the Eagles then outscored the Commanders 22-8 in the second half to not only, okay, get their 10th win, not only win their second straight after a 3-game losing streak, but also for the first time in nearly 25 years, the Philadelphia Eagles are the NFC champions back to back. And that does not happen in that division. Congratulations to the Eagles. Shout out to them. The Bears, they clinched a playoff spot, so close to clinching the NFC North. They beat the Packers 22-16 in overtime, including 13 points in the fourth quarter, but no play more important than down by 7 with less than 2 left. Onside kick recovered by the Bears to give them a chance. They go down, they score, they tie the game, they go to overtime. Willis fumbles the football. We broke this down, and bang, there goes the Packers. Loss. Bears 1 week away, winning the NFC North. They are 11-4. Packers 9-5-1. Sunday, the Dolphins got slaughtered by the Bengals 45-21. Not much to talk about there. 2 bad football teams. Rumors are Mike McDaniels is going to stay. Joe Burrow back on the schneid, 4 TDs, 309 passing yards. The Bills, they held off in Cleveland against the Browns 23-20 to move to 11-4. They needed that New England team to lose last night. They didn't, so they're still a game back in the AFC East. The Chargers They beat the Cowboys 34-17. They moved to 11-4, though again, much like the Niners and the Seahawks and the Rams, the Chargers are just in one of those divisions, man, that the Broncos are good. I mean, it's kind of wild. So there's still a battle going on there. Every game matters. Tennessee, second straight victory. They beat the Chiefs, the lowly Chiefs. Gardner Minshew tears his ACL. Chiefs are on their third string quarterback, some dude that's literally never played before, but he has 2 Super Bowls. Their season's over. The questions just start to come. Andy Reid, Travis Kelce, plenty of time in the offseason to talk about that. Good for Cam Ward and the Titans getting some positivity at the end of this season as they look to trek the last 2 weeks. The Saints, don't look now, okay? And I was a big proponent of Spencer Rattler, though he might not have had a lot of wins. I don't think he was necessarily the reason, okay? I also think another team in the NFL better go out and get Spencer Rattler and try and get him to come and compete for their QB1 job. Nonetheless, though, that's not the point of this conversation. The point of this conversation is Tyler Shough took over. I believe that was week 12 or 11 against the Panthers. In Tyler Shough's time as the starter, the Saints are 4-2, including 3 straight victories against the Bucs, the Panthers, and now the Jets. So starting to look up for the New Orleans Saints as the season comes to a close for them. They're now 5-10. Taysom Hill, congratulations. Only player in NFL history with 1,000 passing yards, 1,000 rushing yards, and 1,000 receiving yards in his career. What a crazy stat. I liken that to being a two-way in the sport of baseball. The Giants, they suck. The Vikings playing better. J.J. McCarthy playing better. Okay. He had kind of a weird game. I think he got hurt in this one as well. Vikings 16, Giants 13. Both teams are done for the year. Big one in the NFC South. The Panthers, they defeated the Bucs 23-20. So now they have a 1-game lead on the NFC South. Both those teams are either winning the South or they're not making the playoffs. That's essentially where they sit right now. Panthers 8-7, Buccaneers 7-8. Bryce Young 21-32, 191 yards and 2 TDs. 169 yards on the ground for the Buccaneers, but they did nothing with it as Sean Tucker was the only one with a touchdown on the ground. A lot of excitement for the Buccaneers this year and a lot of nothing happening right now. Very, very disappointing. The Jags, they defeated the Broncos on the road in Denver. Very impressive win for Liam Cohen, Trevor Lawrence, and the bunch. On last week's Monday morning quarterback, we talked to you about Trevor Lawrence's stats over the last 5 weeks. Dude's playing some really good ball. On the flip side, I've been saying it from the jump. This Denver Broncos offense gives me pause, okay? They give me pause. They haven't been great all year, okay? It seems like they've struggled to score a lot of points. Their defense is good, but they need more offensively. That's going to be the key heading into the postseason. The Jags, they're 11-4 now. The Broncos, they are 12-3. The Falcons, they beat the Cardinals 26-19. Not much to write home about here. The Steelers, huge victory, 29-24 in Detroit against the Lions. That almost knocks the Lions out of playoff contention. They need to win their last 2, and I believe the Steelers or the Packers or somebody needs to lose their last 2. Far cry from their 15-2 season last year in Detroit. The Steelers, okay, how about this statistic? Mike Tomlin, 19th season in a row with an over 500 record or without a losing record. How about that? Because I think like last year they were 500. Without a losing record, okay? That is one of the more impressive stats you have ever heard in your lifetime. He ties Bill Belichick for 19 straight, 2 seasons away from Tom Landry, all-time 21 in a row. Hey, Steelers fans, you guys still want to boo Mike Tomlin? You guys still want to boo him? If you do, go ahead and send him down to South Beach because we'll take him in Miami. The Texans, they beat the Raiders in what was a bad football game, but nonetheless come away with a victory, move on. They're now 10-5, and they're holding the last wild card spot. And then last night on Monday Night Football, the Patriots, they came back from 10 down against the Ravens in the fourth quarter to defeat them and come back on the road after losing to Buffalo last week in what was a game that felt like people started to not believe in them anymore because they lost against a good team. They bounced back against an okay team. Ravens are 7-8. Whatever. Lamar Jackson got hurt in the second quarter. Just not a good year for the Ravens, but the Patriots needed that game. Less about needing the game for the playoffs or whatever. More or less, they just needed that game. Now they stay ahead of the Bills in the AFC East by one game, and they proved to themselves and a lot of other people, hey, man, we're here, and we can beat some really good teams. That is your Monday morning quarterback, Week 16, with an inclusion of the college football playoff. One thought here before we take our final commercial break of the show, and then we have weekend's worst and weekend's best to finish up here for the people. Is it just me, or does it feel like every single week in the National Football League, we are just habitually watching people blow double-digit leads? Like this year alone in the National Football League, it feels to me as if every single weekend there's going to be a double-digit point lead blown, to the point now where a team will be up by like 24 in the second quarter, and the announcers are like, long way to go here. Long way to go. Or 2 minutes left in the game, your team's up by 10. They have 3 timeouts and the 2-minute warning. It's like, hey, man, this team, they could come back here. It's like, what happened? What happened to defenses that they can't hold a lead anymore? What is the epidemic going on in the National Football League to the point where when your team has a lead late in the game, you almost feel more pressure than the team that is losing or trying to drive the football? It almost feels as if you're in your 2-minute offense late in the game, the momentum's actually on your side as opposed to the momentum being on the defensive player's side, which is wild to me. But a crazy dynamic shift has happened in the National Football League over the last 10 or 15 years. You could call it the prevent defense. I don't think that's necessarily fully a thing as much anymore. But it's like this, all right, well, we're leading by 10 here. Let's just let them drive the ball down the field. You know, not in today's NFL. You can score points in less than a minute now, all the time. The worst teams in the league can score points in less than a minute now. So why is it that we feel the need to back off defensively, put less pressure on the quarterback, or something of the like? Nonetheless, though, for some reason, if your team is leading late in the game, it is a very uncomfortable place to be because it is habitual that fourth quarter comebacks of 7 points, 10 points, 14 points happen all the time in the National Football League. It is kind of wild. If I'm a defensive coordinator, the first thing, maybe the only thing we're working on is our defensive 2-minute drill.
Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. Like you grew up 10 minutes from Giant State. I can't handle this too Rocky Romanella thing.
I can't find it. Rocky's got a great quote on it. We'll look for it at the commercial break. Back after this to discuss Monday Night Football and our weekend's best and weekend's worst highlights. One of my favorite segments here on the Rome Show. Stick with us. Back in a minute.
What is one thing every great leader has in common? They challenge their people to not stop at the first right answer. Tighten the Lug Nuts is a leadership book that will teach you how to move past the first right answer with entertaining and detailed examples founded in real-world concepts and experiences. Accelerate towards your professional goals with Tighten the Lug Nuts, one of the best leadership books available.
Yeah, welcome back into the Rome Show. We broadcast live on Twitter, X, Instagram, YouTube. Head to all the sites, youtube.com/The Romanellas, Twitter, X, The Rome Show 1, Instagram, The Rome Show 1, Facebook, The Rome Show. So many places to get The Rome Show. Just make sure you go to one of those places to get the Rome Show. Okay, we got weekend's worst and weekend's best up on the docket. That's when you're going to hear a little bit of this, or you're going to hear a little bit of this. These are our favorite plays from the weekend or our worst plays from the weekend. Worst actions, worst plays, worst things that happened, worst decisions by people. That is the weekend's worst, the weekend's best. You can get in on the action. Comment live on the show. Let's get it cooking, good looking. Starting with our weekend's worst. Number one goes to the wide receiver of the Pittsburgh Steelers. DK Metcalf gets the... No. Yeah, check this video out. He punches a fan, ladies and gentlemen. How about them apples?
Mixing up with someone in the stands.
Oh my gosh.
And that not going to have
that's not good.
Consequences for the Steelers.
Oh, yeah, that's not good. Let's watch that again. He's grabbing the guy by the hair and then punches him in the face.
That not going to have consequences for the Steelers and Metcalf.
That is not what you're looking for if you're DK Metcalf. That is the number one weekend's worst. Number two is going to go to Texas A&M and Miami, okay? I was working on a graphic for this, and then I just thought, this is wild. Do I want to make a graphic with some of these numbers on it? So I will read them aloud to you because there's like 9 sad trombones that get deserved for this performance offensively in the first round of the college football playoff. Texas A&M and Miami. Miami won 10-3, so 13 combined points, okay? There were 4 combined fumbles. Each team lost 2. There were 2 interceptions, both from Texas A&M. Okay, 6 total times. There was a possible turnover. 4 times the team actually lost the football. That's not what you're looking for. The Miami kicker, he was 25% on field goals. 1 of 4. The Texas kicker, Texas A&M, 1 of 2. The combined field goal total in this contest was 2 of 6 to finish. Miami, 278 offensive yards. Texas A&M, 326 offensive yards. Do you know how many total punt yards happened in this game? 399. There were more combined punt yards in this game than either offense gained in total yards. That's 1,000% your number 2 weekend's worst. All right, we continue on here with an honorable mention. We didn't get any stats on this one. We didn't get any video on this one. Simply put, here's a sad trombone for the Kansas City Chiefs. There's nothing else you could say. You go from a dynasty, what people believed was the next coming of the Patriots and Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, to 6-9. Not only is QB1 arguably the best QB in the league, tearing his ACL, but QB2, very entertaining in Gardner Minshew, not that good, tearing his ACL. Now you're on to QB3. You're 6-9. Just like, what? Like, you always expect the dynasty to end, but the way that ended, it came to a really abrupt finish, and it's kind of sad. So, weekend's worst, number 3, goes to the Kansas City Chiefs. Number 4 would be Frank Nazar of the Chicago Blackhawks. Before I give this weekend's worst because of what happened, I must say this. There's no one tougher than a hockey player. Sorry, not sorry. I don't care what sport you play. These dude takes pucks in the face, sticks to the face. They got skates on. They're getting smashed each other in the boards. They're allowed to fight each other. They come back from stuff. They don't cry. There's no complaining. It is the most impressive sport you've ever seen. I love the hockey player. And check out this puck to the face from Frank Nazar as our number 4 weekend's worst. Right there. Oh, man. He took that puck right to the grill, ladies and gentlemen. And look at his face. Not a thought process in the world, not a frustration. Puck right to the grill. If you notice it, you probably can't. It looks as if he has almost like a hole on the right side of his face. So nothing that Frank did, just got hit in the face with the puck. So that's your 4th. And finally, LSU football. Shame on you. Why is Lane Kiffin getting a bonus for Ole Miss winning their first round CFP game? That to me is stupid. That to me is not right. And that to me is the reason why we have so many problems in college football. If I can abruptly leave a job, like a clown, by the way, because that's exactly what Lane Kiffin did. If I can abruptly leave a job, leave all these dudes hanging, they're one of the best 8 teams left in the country, chance to win a national title, and the team I'm going to is going to give me bonuses for that team doing good. Bro, you left. You don't deserve this anymore. You abandoned these dudes. Why do you deserve to make something off of them winning in the college football playoff? I understand you helped coach them get there, but you also left them in the most important time of the year. Here is the bonuses Lane Kiffin gets for the remainder of the college football playoff. He got $250,000 for them winning that game. He'll get another $250,000 if they win the semifinal, and I believe they get $1 million if he wins it all the way through the championship. I think that's bad on LSU. I think that's bad on, that shouldn't even be allowed. Like, this is why these guys have ultimate control, and they'll leave and do whatever the hell they want. Because you can act like a loser like Lane Kiffin did in the way he left Ole Miss and still get paid like that. I'm sorry. That's ridiculous. It goes against everything we tell young kids. Be a good person so it pays off. Well, Lane Kiffin's a loser, and it's paying off for him. He's my weekend's worst to finish. All right, let's get to the good stuff now, ladies and gentlemen. It is your weekend's best, and we are going to get it started off with Kenneth Gainwell of the Pittsburgh Steelers. If you didn't see this catch, you need to, because it is
Mike Tomlin, who told us that
take a
meeting
look
with him on Friday. Just look at this. He's going to get the flag anyway, and just got to his feet. Presence of mind.
That's ridiculous.
Touchdown, Pittsburgh.
Here, see it one more time in slow-mo.
Right here. It was from Mike Tomlin, who told us that meeting with him
unbelievable
on Friday. Just look at this. He's going to get the flag anyway, and just.
You see catches like that all the time, and it's like, dang, how did they do that? And what I've realized is in the National Football League today, that's a commonplace. Like, these guys are ridiculously good. That is a commonplace in today's National Football League. Kenneth Gainwell, our first weekend's best. Let's get our second one in here. It comes from Chicago, and it means that DJ Moore and Caleb Williams found a way to come back in the fourth quarter. They were. And here's what it looked like.
On the fake, Williams looking downfield, launching downfield, going for it all. It is caught. Bears win it. DJ Moore.
Oh, yeah, that gets you a second. Dude, you are simply the best, especially since there's been a lot of vitriol, myself included, coming towards Caleb Williams for his quarterback play on a team that has 11 victories and should be competing to win in the postseason. And he was a number 1 overall pick. But that hype or that lack of hype should never affect you. Caleb Williams' elite game on Saturday night against a division foe, needed it. Big-time plays down the stretch. That's what big-time players do. Shout out to the Bears and Caleb Williams for that victory. How about this? I saw this stat over the weekend, and I thought this is a weekend's best for me. Sean McDermott and the Buffalo Bills. How about this stat, ladies and gentlemen? Okay, I saw this over the weekend. I'm like, this is a weekend's best. Sean McDermott, prior to taking his glasses off, had the Bills at 3-3. Okay, coaching on the sidelines with spectacles on. Ever since the change of glasses to no glasses, the Buffalo Bills are 8-1. That is the type of statistical analytics I need in my lifetime. Sean McDermott's lack of glasses this weekend is simply number 3. Yeah, you are, dude. All right, here we go. Let's continue on. Let's go to the hardwood. I don't know if you saw this at MSG over the weekend. I've been saying that Jalen Brunson is that dude. I've been saying that if you only can go watch one guy in the NBA, Jalen Brunson is one of those guys that you have to highly consider going to watch. That's how good this dude is. Oh, well, what'd he do over the weekend? He was only simply by scoring a career high
117
points.
Brunson turns and scores.
Points over the weekend did Jalen Brunson, and he is arguably, he isn't. It's not arguably. He is the reason the Knicks are so good right now over the last few years, but arguably the best point guard in the National Basketball Association. What he does, shoots, handles, plays defense. He is the absolute captain of this New York Knickerbockers team. Jalen Brunson is the dude. I got a compilation of all of his points scored, all 47 of those from over the weekend right here on your screen. Jalen Brunson, your fourth. He is too. Handles left, handles right. You see this, makes threes, can drive the rack. Jalen Brunson is just the best. Let's finish it with a shout out to, I think, a Mount Rushmore hockey player of all time. That's Sidney Crosby, who became the Pittsburgh Penguins all-time leader in points. And that is definitely
Point for Carlson. Crosby winds and blasts, deflects in front, score! That's it! That's history! The kid is now the king! Sidney Crosby has passed Mario Lemieux for the most points ever!
And if you're wondering what that total was, Sidney Crosby, 1,724 points to be the number one all-time in Pittsburgh Penguins history. He's got 645 goals and 1,079 assists. He's played in 1,387 games. That should really give you an idea of how Sidney Crosby is. By the way, Sidney Crosby not only is number one all-time on the all-time points list for the Pittsburgh Penguins, Sidney Crosby now sits 8th all-time in National League history in terms of points recorded. Congratulations to Sidney Crosby. And those are your weekend's best and your weekend's worst. Some things that I love that I saw this weekend and some things that I hated that I saw this weekend. The Rome Show 1 on Twitter, X, and Instagram. The Romanellas on Facebook, if you want to give us what you believe your weekend's best and your weekend's worst were. Let's get you ready for Monday Night Football tonight as we close up a Monday edition of The Rome Show. Tonight, we got the 49ers. They're taking on the Indianapolis Colts. Grandpa Rivers, in his second start in 2025, will look to keep the Colts' playoff hopes alive. I find it very funny looking back 2 weeks now to the Colts' decision to take Phillip Rivers off of retirement and bring him to behind center instead of Riley Leonard. When you looked at the chances for them to make the postseason at the time, the chances were very slim. A lot had to happen, and a lot happened the opposite direction for them. So they're now sitting at 8-6. This is a must-win football game. The Houston Texans are ahead of them at 10-5. So if this is not 9-6 Colts after this thing, their season's pretty much over. And to me, what was the point in that? If you're Phillip Rivers, if you're the Indianapolis Colts, I'm not saying that their thought process of we're still in this playoff hunt, we're 8-4 at the time, or 8-5 at the time, we just lost our starting quarterback, we're in the midst of a 4-game losing streak. How do we right this ship and not go to a rookie quarterback? I don't disagree with that being the thought process there from the Colts. But looking back now, just 14 days later, it kind of was stupid. Because if the slim chance was that you were making the postseason, why wouldn't you want your rookie quarterback then to take all of those snaps? If the chances were that we had to play a 44-year-old guy who's been retired for 5 years coaching high school football, the chances are we weren't making the playoffs anyways. So why not just go with the rookie guy? And who knows, maybe the benefit of Phillip Rivers in the building is beneficial to Riley Leonard. I have no clue. Maybe this is the step to Phillip Rivers becoming the quarterback coach next year. I have no idea. But when you look back just 14 days, was this the decision? Was this the right move by the Colts? And did it even matter? Like, that's wild to even think. It's not like they were automatically going to be in the playoffs. We need a veteran that if we have this one playoff game, he can help us win it. Nah, it wasn't even like that. And now you look back and you're like, damn, Phillip Rivers just added 5 more years to his potential Hall of Fame ballot. For what? For that? And hey, listen, to each their own. I tell people all the time, I'd pay a pro baseball team to let me play for just a game. So I can't deny that. It's just wild what revisionist history will do for a decision. Here are the numbers on tonight's broadcast. Okay. We got the San Francisco 49ers favored by 5.5 points. Okay. I believe the Colts are the home team. All right. So that does bode well for Indianapolis. The Niners are 9th in the league in total yards. They're 10th in the league in points per game at 24.6. They're 4th in the league in passing at 246.1. However, despite having Christian McCaffrey, they are not great running the rock. They only rush for 101 per game. That's good for 25th in the league. On the flip side, their defense is 11th in the league in terms of points per game given up at 20.9. The key matchup in this game is going to be that 4th ranked pass offense for the 49ers against the 31st pass defense of the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts pass defense, no bueno. No matter who the quarterback is, they're giving up nearly 247.6 yards per game. Their defense as a whole, however, is a bend don't break defense because they're 13th in the league in opponents' points per game at 21.6. The offensive numbers for the Colts are a little skewed because for the first 12 weeks, they were arguably one of the best offenses in the league. For the 3 of the last 4 weeks, they were atrocious, and that was with Daniel Jones. And then last week, they had Phillip Rivers at the helm. So here are the numbers. 7th in yards, 6th in points per game, 6th in rushing, and 10th in passing. Okay? 229 yards per game passing was the average that Daniel Jones brought to the table. Phillip Rivers last week had 120 passing yards on 18 of 27. The Colts, 28.0 points per game offensively, good for 6th in the league. However, over their last 4 games, they've only scored 17.8 points per game. That is more likely what this team is going to look like. So how do I feel this game's going to end? In conclusion, I'm going to take the 49ers, and I'm going to take them at the -5.5. Give me Brock Purdy at 2+ passing touchdowns as well. I just feel like whether it's Daniel Jones or whether it's Phillip Rivers, it don't matter. I still think the 49ers are better than the Colts. But then you put all of that stuff we just talked about in the mixing bowl, and you say, how could this not be, if only a 6-point victory, at least just a 6-point victory from the 49ers? So give me the Niners, and give me the Niners at the -5.5. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning into the Rome Show today on a Monday, December 22nd, 2025, as we get ourselves ready for Christmas in 3 days. Head to the social media sites. Share the Rome Show Christmas post as we are giving away tomorrow on the show our final Rome Show Christmas giveaway. I am Andrew Romanella. Thank you for tuning in today. I really appreciate you, the people. We'll be back tomorrow at 7:05-ish. It all depends. Rocky's going to join us. Must I say, have an electric Monday. Peace!